the map of the world shows the territories of the boundaries: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah.
Yeah.
Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph. They're all,
Benjamin.
Yeah, Benjamin. They're all in there. I just don't know how to start even convincing people that's how we should look at the world.
Because that is like looking at a tree and saying that branch goes over to the left and that one goes to the right. It's one tree. That leaf or the roots are still part of one tree, and everyone gets all caught up in, they're the leaf, we're the branches, and everyone's giving themselves titles and positions. But let's just remember, keep it simple. I amness is existing. No one needs to prove why they exist. No one has to tell anybody else, why do you get the right to exist? Because I do. We all have that right. Born with that right. What's going on, basically, it's just a big brainwashing program. There's no such thing as, many of these things that we've created that are legal fictions. They're just conventions that we can get along in this particular system. But the system is broken because it was always fundamentally broken. It needs love at the head of it to guide it. Cookies need love like everything needs love. And you want the world to be fixed. This is how you fix the world, right? Everyone's crying and getting kicked out of their house because they're paying council tax. Well, I'll tell you what, if people picked up the rubbish instead of, like today, I found on the floor outside my friend's house a plate that someone had obviously eaten their food off and then thrown it on the floor. What the hell is that all about? Eating a plate of food, a ceramic plate, and then throwing the plate on the floor. And you can see that there was food on it. It's like someone who couldn't be bothered washing it. This disposable throwaway society or whatever. Maybe the plate broke, but the point is, why throw that plate on the floor? Who's picking that up? Who do you think's going to come and pick that up? I ended up having to be the one to pick up because I was so disgusted. I thought, kids are going to come in and they're going to fall and they're going to hurt themselves and cut themselves on this plate because some thoughtless idiot has done that. And the world is full of thoughtless idiots. They say, oh, I want to live free. I want to live free. There's no free from responsibility. There's cause and effect. There is no free from responsibility. The only thing that we can do is help. Yeah? If you can't help, if you can't add any solutions, keep quiet right now. Because the people with the solutions are coming with the solutions and we're going to fix it. It's as simple as that. There is no giving up and go, oh, well, it's too hard, let's give up now. None of that. None of that. You get up, pick up your cross and follow me, which means pick up the rubbish off the floor. If you don't want to pay council tax, pick up the rubbish. Do the job of the bin men then. Do the job of the teachers. Do the job of the people that work in the library. Yeah, and just do it, because it needs doing. But people want money. They think money makes them free. No, money doesn't make them free. Money enslaves them to the system of the people that created money. What they want, really, is to be able to recognise responsibility in themselves and to teach responsibility to others so that people go and do what needs to be done. That's how you get the kingdom of heaven on earth. It's a doing thing.
It's a doing thing, but then again, if you've got people
Give us this day.
if you've got governments in the territories of Gad and the territories of Joseph and flipping Issachar and Zebulun,
Yeah.
and the territories of flipping a few other ones of them, and they're making war against the people of Dan and Naphtali.
Yeah.
It's a different thing to understand it in terms of these people are all our brethren. They're not necessarily, okay, it's a foreign religion, but we're all one people under God.
Yeah, oneness,
stop fighting your brothers.
Stop fighting yourself.
Realise that you are brothers. And that...
Well, they aren't. The ones that are saying, go fight the brothers, go fight your brother, right, are not doing anything. They are testing everybody, right? They're testing everybody. And people are going out and doing it and failing the test. And it's simply because people have brainwashed themselves and they'll say, oh yeah, he's a soldier, he's good. Stop using euphemisms, right? Again, I had this conversation with a guy the other day and he says, oh yeah, you should call them mercenaries. I said, yeah, I thought about that, but it's using a word that sounds like mercy. There's no mercy in what they're doing. They are murderers, right, who don't even think about what they're doing as murder. So that's a type of psychopath. that really is fucking. He's got no reason for doing it, except someone told him to do it. What a loser! So you're a murderer, and you're a fucking weird type of psychopath that'll do anything that anybody says. You go kill somebody and all of that. It's like on TV they say, watch the FBI files. You know, they talk about psychopaths and killers and homicide and murderers and kidnappings, and you know, it's like join the army. Join the army, and that's, you know, that's where all the murderers and psychopaths. That's why it's not all being treated and being sorted out in society. They're employing them, recruiting them, training them right in front of our eyes, and everybody's blind and too coward to see. You know, the balls has gone out of people. They don't know anything. Christ was not like a little baby.
Well, when you realise that the whole flipping everything that you've been led to believe is actually like a legitimate authority, and they're actually just psychopathic murdering, killing sort of people, then it's like...
Well, they're not murdering, killing. They instigate through... They encourage. They encourage it, and they pay for it. They bribe it.
Yeah.
But they do not want to sully their hands with blood. They feel that if they do it that way, yeah, it's like the way they gain their power.
Well, the thing is, delegating responsibility isn't delegating accountability.
The way
It's
they...
like, who made the decision for that to be done?
Yeah. Well, the way they gain their power, spiritually speaking, is through getting others to submit to them.
As long as there's bloodshed, it seems, they're quite happy.
Well, yeah, because... Well, I'm not even going to go into it because I have to start thinking like them, and I don't want to think like them. But there's a certain dark occultism that goes with that. Mark Passio would probably know more about that than me. You know, because we're obviously dealing with it
whichever
from...
dark gods they're doing it for, they're doing it blatantly. And
to wake people up.
It's delegated. And maybe it's to wake people up.
I feel...
The people involved, like I say, with such large illegitimate authority, blundering around wondering who to kill next, like a lion in the bleeding street. Are you going to approach it, or are you going to kind of like get your head down, get together with your neighbours, start working on a bleeding neck? Yeah,
well, that's a very appropriate analogy. A lion in the street, around devouring. I had that dream several years ago. I talked to my band members about it, and I told them, I said, I had a dream. You know, all of us, Israel, was standing in the world, and the world was like a field that had just been ploughed, and someone had sowed some seeds, and the seeds were growing into shoots, and then taller and taller, like barley. And as it reached midway to our waists, like a midway point in time, so to speak, the lions came out, because they'd been hunting and stalking the people, and because the tall grass was there to conceal them, they started to devour the people. So one by one, the people would a lion would jump up and grab them and drag them down and eat them. And I could see in the distance this happening.
Exodus film?
Hey?
Have you seen that Christian Bale Exodus film?
I'm not sure what you're talking about now.
The most recent Batman.
Oh, Christian Bale. Ah. Is it? No, it's not. It's not him. Oh, yes. No, I saw Noah. That's right. Yeah. No, I've not seen that one yet. Exodus. Have you got it?
I've tried to watch it on that Footlocker thing, but it's 2.5 hours.
Right.
And screaming involved.
All right. I'll see. I'll probably get a chance to see it soon. But I've read the Bible. all them things, all those things, right, basically give us another way of interpreting that information. And if you know how to pick sense from nonsense, you'll do well. But films alone just allow us to talk to other people about that subject. You know, it's become a metaphor with which we can use as a tool to simplify. Like a picture says 1,000 words, and they just have to say one word, and they know what I mean. It's a universal language. That's what it is. And art does that. Music does that. But what the people need, right, is to return to God, basically.
What does that even mean, though, really?
Good question. Good question.
Which God?
Well,
the God of the Bible? Well, which God of the
I
Bible?
I am. The original I am. You know where God is, because God is in you.
I'm keen on a return to the I am that I understand is the God from eternity to eternity. But for someone to just say, oh yeah, oh well, I am and God, that's not necessarily.
No, many can say that, can't they?
A lot of people would say that without any reading, without any, but just because they've heard it, they'll stick to that, and there's no.
But doesn't it say that also in the Bible, that many shall come and, it's like the instant they hear it, they're a believer. Blessed are they who have not seen and yet believe. But more blessed are those who have seen and yet still believe.
Well, that's what you say, but I've not actually seen that in the Bible.
Well, I read that.
We've not found it since.
I read that, and it's almost like people say to me, where have you read that? It was this very old version of a Bible that came out of a church.
Well, not all of us have seen it, mate.
And it was how they have the huge church Bibles, and this one was full of pictures as well. It was an illustrated church Bible, very old. It's from 1800 and on.
But you've read the Bible since.
Yeah, and even the Schofield reference. And the Schofield reference again mentions that in its references. Because pertaining to that, right, yes, if you've not seen and you believe, right, because Christ, you've got to remember in the context Christ was talking and who he was talking to. Right, he's talking to his disciples and saying, listen, these people have not even seen what I can do or what this message is about yet, and yet they just fucking believe. But you who have seen it don't even believe me. Really, deep down, you say you do, but it's like one of them.
But I don't think it's about belief. It's about
that was a popular
truth.
But you see, people don't find the truth. They just want to be around it, but they don't necessarily overstand it or look for more truth. They just, like the same way some people just want a bin man to clean up that plate off the floor for them, so they feel quite happy to throw it on the floor. Who are they? These people, who do they think are going to clean that up? They think people that do good things are their servants and their slaves. Yeah? Because this mentality that they've got, this approach. Really, everybody's behaving like a child, and therefore they're being treated like children by Daddy State, deservedly. God is watching, God is very much alive, and we have created our own reality every day with our actions, with our behaviour. We think paranoid thing, the world becomes a paranoid place. We think positive things, the world becomes a positive place. No magic involved. We work and create our reality. Just like in that time travel movie called Paycheck, I think it was, where the guy realised that we inevitably create our own undoing by wanting to know what the future brings. It's like we project our future. So whatever you think it's going to be, it's that. And I project that our future's going to be great, but we have to deal with the problems first. Everyone's stuck on, if you deal with the problem, it's going to get worse. If you deal with the problems, things will get bad for you. No. Things are bad for everybody. People need to wake up, right, and realise the simple truth. 25 years ago, I was in school reading my geography books and various books, and it said, in 25 years, the fossil fuels we're using will run out. And here we are today. And I had that same conversation again with that guy I was talking to yesterday, and he agreed. He says, I remember reading the same textbook. You're right, mate. It does say that. So here we are. And what is happening? We've run out of oil, but not only have we run out of oil, kind of globally, where there's enough to maybe keep things going for a little while, but not on the scale we have been doing. Something's got to give. Something's got to give, and
it's not just that there's not enough oil though.
There's not enough heart. There's not enough human love in the world and care about what's happening to others. They think the answer to keep the world happy, right, is everybody feed yourself, get as much as you can, people, stuff your pockets. Yes, it's all running out. Eat like there's no tomorrow.
Every man for himself.
Every man for himself. Dog eat dog, even. Yeah. When that's what creates hell. That's why it's like this. We've been doing that for a long time, and it got worse when people who had planned this said, "We don't need God in the schools." Right? Government did that. The same government people say is a good thing. How can they be a good thing when really what they're trying to do is get rid of our constitution, our reason to believe in anything good? Because the Bible is a will and testament from Adam and Eve. Right? The High Court in London, Adam and Eve Street. Well, that's a bit of a coincidence. It's all leading back to Dieu et mon droit, God and my right. There is no right if you do not have God. You know? God is the one that's going to save us, but not the way people think.
Well, as long as it's God saves us, I think that's the main thing.
What do people think Judgment Day is? Do they think Judgment Day is like, oh, you die, and God is going to judge you on that day? It could be, but I actually think we're in Judgment Day now. It's a living, breathing thing, and it's going on. It's happening. It's happening. You know, man shall decide his own destiny. Man shall decide his own fate. Do we want war or peace? And how do you get to each one? How do you get to the state of war? How do you get to the state of peace? What steps must be taken in between to ensure that we arrive at those destinations? Just like walking. The journey starts with a single step. So if we want peace, we must start in the direction of peace. Because at the moment we're in the walking blindly, foolishly, ignorantly, stubbornly, lazily, giddily, yeah, can't be arsedly, me first, all of that shit, towards our own undoing. Right? If you go about the world, or any street, or anywhere in the world, and just go about causing trouble, you're going to end up with trouble, aren't you? So this is what these people are doing. And they can't take criticism, it would seem.
Or it's those people charged with looking out for those things who are fucking those things up. So one man can't just say, right, well, let's tear down Parliament for a bunch of fuckwits.
No, you can't even do it like that.
People don't see that, and enough people don't already see that they're a bunch of fuckwits.
Yeah, yeah.
And
they can't be saved. They cannot be saved. I'm telling you now. If they haven't woke up by now, let the filthy be filthy. Let the clean be clean. Judgment Day's on its way.
but it'll take, like, tipping point of people to change things anyway.
Right. Well, check this.
There's no tipping.
The tipping point is here, my friend. The Ides of March. You've heard that saying, haven't you? Right. Well, I was thinking. I don't even know if I think such a thing or if things just come to me. But
Oh, it's relevant.
the IDS of March. Whose initials? Ian Duncan Smith. Of March. Whose birthday is that? Mine. Poor man saved of a city, and no man shall take it to heart. Your heart is in your chest, man chest. Okay. Where's this taking place? Where's this all going to be happening? Right here. And even if the venue is moved, doesn't matter, because ultimately the battle is still going on inside a man's chest. All decisions, the way we make decisions, is made through an alignment between our thoughts, which are in our head, our emotions, which the faculty centre has been given as our heart, yeah, and our actions, which you could, I suppose, liken to, so a man thinks, so is he. Every word that proceedeth out of a man's mouth, so is he. Right, so, as a man thinketh, so is he. And every word that proceeds, so the thinking starts the process. It then goes to the heart. Is it a right or a wrong thing? Should I say this? Is this is this good? Can God dwell in your heart when you are angry? Or do you have to be at peace? Do you have to be in a loving spirit before God will want to dwell there inside of you? And then the good spirit that people have recognized as God, the everlasting, eternal, right? It didn't go anywhere, it didn't go away. We just forgot about him. We always turn our back on the feelings of feeling good so that we can feel angry, so that we can vindicate ourselves with nonsense like a child. Someone took my toy off me, blah, 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 blah. Yeah? Not realising that there's a bigger thing at stake right now. All our freedom is at stake, and it's like this. If you want to be free, free your brother, free your sister. and then you will be
We
free.
can't look on
You can free others. You can't necessarily free yourself until you free
How can you
your
free
mind.
others? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can put a book in someone's face and say, read this. And what, you're going to read it for them? And,
No,
and
but
hope that
But actions speak louder than words. And let's say you just went round giving people
I
food.
don't think you can by
You don't need
saving
words.
yourself and showing yourself as like a free example. Look at me, I'm free. Then maybe, but until you feed yourself, how can you even direct to the freedom of others?
Well, because you are free if you're giving
you can't
that
do it. You've got,
freedom.
you've got bees in your eye. You try to pick out the thing in someone else's eye.
Oh no, it's not criticising.
You've got,
It's
no,
helping
it's
to
the whole
free
thing.
them.
It's the whole thing. How can you free someone else if you're not free?
Because it's freeness or being free starts in your head.
I mean,
As
yeah,
it
if
were,
everyone
and in your
flies
heart.
in the web and everyone works to cut someone free,
Mm.
and one flies free, and then you work to cut out the next person.
Then all are free because what's actually
But
happening is
how can you actually free someone? You can't pay their way.
it's not about
to
pay.
free them economically. You can't
The wages of
necessarily
sin.
liberate them politically.
The wages of sin, the wages of living immorally.
Are you talking about trying to save them in terms of sin and morality?
No, we save ourselves.
How can you say
you know.
how can you say what does that even mean? Free another person? What are you going to free them from? That you're really going to free them?
Fear. Let's put it this way: when you are around, when you are around, you should be like acting like a check and balance for that person. So if they are hungry,
But if you're not free
you will
from fear
feed them.
yourself, how can you free someone else from fear? I don't think it can be done.
It's the
You can free yourself
idea.
from fear.
Well, I'm going to say it like this: it's the idea that you try your best.
To free someone else. Free
I'm free, okay.
yourself, and then you've got a good standpoint to try and free someone else. But maybe if
Well, I'm
you
free.
understand yourself as free, you'll understand what that even means. How free are you? What
It means helping others. That being the example. That's what being free means. If free doesn't come without responsibility, it comes with responsibility. You're free to be a god, and the type of god you are will determine the type of reality you're creating around you. Because evil won't want to be around you in the same way good doesn't want to be around evil. So, by being good, you automatically attract all the good things in your life.
by turning on the light, you create shadow.
That's true. And shadow will chase around the light source. It can never be the light.
Complementary to the light, though, isn't it? Through light and shadow, we get to see form.
Exactly. Well, that's how we get wisdom. Therefore,
But that's not.
if it was
That's
only
that's not
good-
light and light sticking together, or shadow and shadow sticking together. Because with light and light, there's still no discernment of form. With shadow and shadow, there's no discernment of form.
exactly, you need
So you-
both.
So you can't really work on a good principle, because every good principle you have in you is beset by so many shadow principles, and that's the fight that goes on inside yourself.
Well, the yin and yang is always resolving itself, isn't it?
To be able to free someone else, like I say, how are you going to force someone else to read, to understand?
You just live it, innit? You just live it, and
You can't
people will want to
do
be like that.
anything for anyone else. With your children, you can put food in front of them.
Are moths drawn to
But
a
if-
flame? And do moths even know why they would be drawn to a flame when it's going to
all-
kill them?
All I'm saying is free yourself, and you'll be in it. But you can't free someone else if you're not free. That's like
Some of our
trying
nature-
to direct someone to a place where
Some
you've
of our
never been.
nature, like the moth drawn to the flame, is self-destructive. And learning to master that is the process why we're here. Why we're in this.
You've got to be clever enough a moth to know the difference between the navigational tool
Artificial
of the
light.
moon
Yeah.
and the thing which is a little too.
Pay attention
Burny.
to your surroundings. Pay
And,
attention.
and anyone can come with a doctrine, which it's a bright light. I'll
Yeah, follow
that. I'll try and guide my path from
Yeah.
that light.
Yeah,
And hang on, I can't fly anymore. Singed.
exactly. That's what happened to all the
That's not
angels.
the true light.
Yeah. We're all angels.
But moths navigate by the moon, and that's only reflected light.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah. But it puts it doesn't put me necessarily in a position to help anyone else. I can try and explain how I understand things, but he's bothered to listen. Everyone's trying to find their own way.
Which is good. But no, there are ones listening. I mean, don't forget, that which is inside us is listening.
Yeah, but I'm okay, and I can't, and it can't be communicated to anyone else. It seems so. No one else is even bothered, and that's how it's written. It's like you can't save anyone else. If there's a time and we're in it,
That's true.
and it's like,
That's true.
we're going through it,
Everyone must answer.
and we're all going to come through pretty singed.
Every
I
knee
think.
shall bow, every tongue shall confess. So we're going through that. That is Judgment Day. It's all happening. Tongues are confessing. Secrets are outing. Yeah, but now the human race must learn about itself as a collective. It's not about, oh look, they was wrong, it's Coronation Street. Ooh, no. Because you're doing that, like you said, you're pointing fingers, how many are pointing back at you? You've allowed that to happen. Samaritan's law says, right, because if by the law we are saved, in the Old Testament, that's why it has to be changed, we're all deserving of death, because somewhere there's a law that says, actually, no, shouldn't be doing that. So, and it's written down, so someone spent time, and if you can't be asked to read it, you know,
Or by the law, no one's saved.
but by the law no one is saved, but by
Everyone's
mercy
convicted.
and grace. And mercy and grace implies something. We need to
But then
learn to
again-
forgive
But then
ourselves,
again,
forgive
when
our
when you're a
debts.
child, you're under instruction. When you become an adult,
Yeah.
you know, under that same sort of guidance. And
Yeah.
the law is kind of for children.
Yeah.
And once it's written in your heart,
The law is definitely for children, but children are the best. Children learn the laws. Once you teach a child well,
the thing is, children in charge of children.
Is-
When it came
yeah.
to the law, it meant death and destruction, and everyone
Yeah.
was a hypocrite
Yeah.
because they're willing to put the next person to death
Mhm.
whilst holding a whole bag full of
Yeah.
offences.
Exodus 21, that's when it started to break down, isn't it? Exodus 20, 10 Commandments. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody found any fault in that. Then it got to Exodus 21. Oh, labour laws. Manservant shall be paid this much more than a woman. And suddenly women's backs are up now because like, wait, I'm unequal. I don't want to subscribe to that. That doesn't sound like something. And that's been used against anybody that was trying to teach through that method. But we got to realise is, back in the day, that's how people used to live. So are they accurately describing history, or should we tell lies just so that everybody feels better about the past?
Should we pay one human life form less than another human life form?
Good question. Now
I don't think we
we're
should.
always asking this, aren't we?
Should we pay white more than we pay black?
Yeah.
I don't think we
Old
should.
or young,
Should we pay? Yeah.
footballer or
for the job
non-footballer.
done. And Messiah says, well, basically, you know, this is the
Yeah.
wage for it. But is that fair?
Wages of sin is death.
The job at five to finishing time and they get paid. The
You know
same.
what I think it is?
Like, yeah, but
We
you-
all get the
you-
same
you
wage.
agree.
If we as an aggregate human race
we all have
fuck it
life.
up.
We all have life. That is something that we've all been paid even before we've earned it.
But I say we earn the summation 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 till you get the end figure. Or 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 7 plus 6 minus 10 until you get the answer. Whatever people are doing that's positive or negative creates the sum total at the end. And if the sum total, let's say, is negative perception, negative reality, then you get negative perception, negative reality. The reflection that you see in that mirror, is it different from what is actually the not reflection, the real world it is reflecting? That's what's really going on in people's head. In your head, your reflection looks like you. But once you have looked at yourself through the eyes of how the Matrix has taught you to live, think and feel, and you realise you're not that, everything suddenly can move. Everything is liquid. Yeah? Things can change. You are a dynamic being who does not have to be the same day to day. In fact, you're not the same. You've got new experiences every single day. And what should be going on is people continue the growing process, but they don't realise this key statement. Once a man, twice a child. Everyone thought the age 18 meant adult, or the age 21 meant adult, or the age 40 meant adult, and it doesn't. Until you've been through that second child stage where someone said you're 18, and for a while maybe you thought you was an adult, and then you suddenly realise, I am a child. Back at naught, knowing nothing. The things that I know could have been written on a postage stamp. Why did school have so much books when the knowledge that's really applicable is the size of a postage stamp in terms of real knowledge that I'm supposed to have? I don't know how to vote. I don't know what politics is all about. I don't know what the law is. I don't know what medicine is. You know, I don't know what all the highway code is saying. I don't know, all the council tax, all of that. This rule, that rule benefits that rule, that rule. I don't know any of that. But this is the world that we're in. Code on top of code, on top of rules on top of rules. But that's all to confuse you. They just make walls.
It's social code.
Invisible.
On top of social code.
Invisible walls.
And this type of
mental prison.
Yeah, it's so you know how to kind of like what the social conventions are in terms of the hierarchy and whatnot, but you don't really understand fuck all around you in the sense that other peoples at other times have understood themselves in their environment.
So now you're a child again in a brand new world with a brand new set of rules. Alice in Wonderland. When you come out of the baby clothes, as it were, and out of school, right? That's when you become a child again. But many of us are taught not to recognise it because they fill the youth's head full of arrogant nonsense. Yeah, arrogant, puffed up chest. You're 18 now, do what you want. You have no, hey, I've taught you for 18 years and now's the time to start giving back. Now's the time when you're your strongest, probably most willing, most open to all the real world that can be given to you. And what have we done to them by that time? We've stupefied them or allowed them to be stupefied the way we were stupefied. And you know what? People wake up, but they don't wake up too much because that's a bit dangerous, isn't it? Because it means changing things. And changing things takes effort and energy. And who can be bothered picking up a plate? You might as well throw it on the floor. Don't even wash it. Why wash a plate? Just eat your food off it and throw it on the floor and let some kids fall on it. Like these idiots do. Yeah, expect someone else to clean up your mess. Just paint the front of the building and never mind the back of it's all cardboard and rotten and there's nothing in it and it's cardboard fruit. That's our reality. That is the reality that people are avoiding and dodging. They want positive. No, there's no recession. No, everything's fine. We've only got £2, but actually we're going to tell you that £2 can be 12. You're a poor man. Well, give us all your money. Oh, that's not enough. Well, sorry, you don't have the right to live. You don't have the right to live, you don't have the right to eat, you don't have the right to be here. Don't question that. Let's have a secret court system and a quiet hush-hush where if anybody talks about it, they sound like, losing the plot. Or people say, yeah, but you're going on a bit about it, a bit too much, aren't you? What, I'm going on about being free. I'm going on about the reality we're in right now. No, we're in the future and it'll be dystopic. I'm talking about we're in a dystopic present. Right? As people need to get their head out of the sand, being in denial, because that's all they're doing, arse in the air, ready to get shafted. Right? We need to stop being in denial and need to wake up. And it's not a case of, well, we need to force this and force that. We have the power of persuasion. You'd be amazed at what the conscience can do. How getting inside of somebody through their heart can make them do the thing that you was asking them to do. You can't make a horse. You can't make a horse drink the water. Sometimes you can't even lead it to the water. That's how stubborn some horses are. But you know what? If it's in that horse's heart to do that, if it's a desire that horse has and sees why it's beneficial to itself, it will do it. Without you. So you don't need to have a Superman flying around.
So you can't really do anything for anyone.
No, but let them be. Let them live. Let them be free. Let them out of the matrix.
So, struggle to be yourself. Yeah. And at the best, all you can do is show yourself as an example.
But I have a duty at the same time to teach these messages that if we want heaven is a 6 foot long spoon. And that's how you eat. Hell is a 6 foot long spoon, and that's how you eat. In hell, nobody wants to feed each other. They try to feed themselves, the food falls off. In heaven, everybody knows that the only way that they can get to eat is to feed each other and be unselfish and to have trust
Same way.
and love
Kingdom
for
of
someone
God is made
else.
up of friends and family.
Right, so you're saying that those bits of land, which really amount to a different branch of the same tree,
It's
right?
It's
Extend an
like
arm.
anything else. It's like a flower opening. All of the petals belong to the same flower.
Right.
One little bit of a petal fighting against another bit of another petal is self-defeating and useless.
Mm-hmm.
Friends and family, or world full of enemies
Exactly.
and hostilities.
Exactly.
I think friends and family is the way forward. I think
Of course
truth
it is.
I think truth and honesty is the way forward.
Yeah, it is. And we're all one big human family.
And yeah, friends and family, we don't always get on, but we don't have to kill each other.
No. Now, many people think that might sound like we're talking about being a part of a new world order. No.
It is a new world order that I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, but not in the sense.
And
not
it
in the
is a
sense.
one world government.
Yeah, but not in the
kind of.
sense that we have been
In that-
seeing things going. That's the part. Because if we're not in that government ourselves, if we take a back seat, you'll never get to the destination where you want
One
to
is
go.
understood by. The
You've got
heart
to
of the people.
drive.
If you understand it, it's a heart thing.
You've got to drive.
It's not a political power on top directing it.
Yeah.
If I understand the world
Mm.
as being the people's,
Mm.
with their history,
Yeah.
which is why Dan is a serpent, because Dan is coming like the
Yeah.
Muslim bloc,
Mm.
which is what the world's fighting against right now.
Mm.
But Garda, we've come you got England, France, Spain, you got all the old colonial powers in there. You got a few major African powers as well in there.
Yeah, but you're going back to tribalism. Going back to what you initially said. One family. It was Israel. Let's say.
It's a way of understanding yourself.
And I don't like to say this because there's so much controversy when you say it.
It just is all. As I understand it, all of the various blessings and things attributed to them. It tells the history of these peoples all the way.
Well, if we're going to talk about
It's like
the chosen
Instruments
people,
of cruelty
right.
in the habitations of Simeon and Levi.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
in the martial arts block, pretty
Yeah.
much, as well as the mental cruelty which went on in Australia.
yeah. But it is not specifically isolated to those places by any means. People can choose to identify with something as well. But here's the unifying factor that we all need, because all of those are just names, right? Let's have some Julesism or some Darrenism, yeah, or some Bobbism.
I understand things.
I don't want anybody calling themselves after my name just for my name's sake when they're not me. Okay? There's only one Israel that's mentioned in the Bible. Everyone else coming after that is not Israel. They're just using his name.
Everyone is Israel.
No. Everyone is real.
That's what I mean.
Everyone is real, but
Everyone
not
is
everyone is that nation of Israel, yeah, or is Ra or whatever. Some people got different interpretations on
There's
that.
a chosen people. It's all of those people.
Well, to
I don't
me,
say- I'm not
much
saying
of it
I'm
has
gonna
become
Pick one out and say, oh, yeah,
representative
well, you've
of
been so righteous.
Baalism. When you've got those people that saying we are the chosen people, God has sent us when He has sent us not, claiming to be God's chosen people and clearly doing the same barbarism that 50 years ago they claim was being done to them. And what lesson have you learned? You're the chosen people? Let me ask you a question first of all, because America and Britain claim to be the chosen people. If they're the chosen people, what are they doing to their own people? Yeah.
What righteousness have you brought?
Yeah, so what right have they to be claiming, I'm your peer, I'm someone you should listen to and say, yeah, I've got all the knowledge and the wisdom that you need to have, and you should follow our examples of, show me where that's leading, boss, because I can show you that's leading to doom and destruction of the matrix that you're claiming you want to protect. Yeah, here's how you deal with it, right? Forget about those nonsense that you've been claiming have to exist. They don't have to exist. I am. And you are. We are alive. That's the important factor. We've got to start looking at reality. How much oil there is left, right? And can we all share it? Simple as that. How much resources we have. Can we all share it? Is resources something that just disappears forever, or are some of these resources renewable? And how is that process going on? And teach that as a matter of fact education, not no bullshit, Humpty Dumpty
Well,
sat on a
it's share.
wall.
Yeah, you can buy as much as you can afford.
Never mind buy as much as you can
It's a-
afford.
it-
The earth
it's
cannot
a set
provide
price.
more than
It's
it
a set
has.
price on world markets. And
No
you can buy
price.
As much as you want.
No price.
On it, as much as you can
Forget
buy.
about price. Talk about, do we need to do that as human beings? Should we be doing that? Should we be doing that?
Well, otherwise you're talking about technocratic
No.
state, where
no.
it's like, oh, the technocrats are in power and everyone's allocated this or that according to need. And
Well, then I'd have to be a technocrat, wouldn't I? Because I've got more knowledge than the average person if that was the case. And I'd be leading my own destiny and I'd be making my own purchase, as it were, and say, well, okay, send me a bunch of whatever and I'm going to do this, whatever, and they do that.
with your own resources,
We have to realise it's our resources. If it's their resources and you're buying it from me because I've done the work, well, I said, well, hold on a minute. I'm willing to do whatever work to get my own resources, but you're forbidding me from getting that. That's where the conflict really arises now. This idea that they can do that, but guess what? Keep your resources.
That's like saying.
Let them keep the resources. What can they do with it?
Everyone's got to do everything for themselves.
If that man thinks he owns the ocean, go ahead. What are you going to do with all that ocean? You alone swim in it? You alone fish in it? You're going to catch all the fish and do what? How are you going to get out to sea by yourself, all the way back, catch all the fish that you claim you're going to do, pull that net in, do all of that by yourself? It takes others. It's as simple as that. So if they don't know how to work with others, eventually they will doom themselves. I don't need to do anything to them. It's a simple case of you don't have to do anything to those that are doing evil. Just, you know, will people want to help evil people when most people are good? And they recognise evil for what it is. They can see evil now, and they go, you know what, you're evil. Can they even forgive evil? Can we forgive evil? Or does something have to change before we can forgive someone who's done an evil thing? Has anybody in the history of mankind done an evil thing and regretted it and changed, and people ever forgiven that person or not forgiven them? And what happened as a result of that forgiving or not forgiving? Does it make us stronger? Does it make us better? Does it make them stronger? Does it make them better? Real fucking questions. Real shit. People, you've got too much to say, Joe. Shut the fuck up. You talk too much. You talk too long. Yeah, I do. But that's why I know more. Simple as that. And if they can't justify anything, then, you know, oh, it's by force, is it? It's not by force. Force can't create anything. Not like that. Force has to be guided. You know, force is like an explosion going off. Explosions don't create anything.
Mercy is like Jonah. And you don't understand Mercy because I've just ran away from you. He's flipping swallowed me up with this fish and spat me out. And I'm here, right, I'm okay, I'm here. And I've gone in there and I've prophesied death and destruction and what?
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. So how do you see that then?
No, it's just tricky. Don't prophesy death and destruction. If
Don't try to see the future.
Well, it's tricky. You
Just live in the present.
You see death and destruction coming. You set as a watchman, you must open your mouth, otherwise blood's on your hands. So
Yeah.
you open your mouth, and they change the ways.
Yeah.
That's the result.
Yeah.
But what about the death and destruction that you prophesied? Don't you feel like, you know, you're only vindicating?
But is it just prophesied, or is it prophesied if you do not change your ways, this and that will
So a
happen?
warning isn't necessary.
Right, it's there's a warning on the bottle, a label that says do not drink this is poison, and people decide, you know what, I'm gonna ignore that warning, I'm gonna drink it. And let's see what happens. Right? And maybe for the first time they don't die straight away. Surprise, surprise. But they keep drinking it, they're getting sicker and weaker and sicker, and eventually they drop dead one day and they'll be like, yeah, I told you so. Told you on the label. You know, human body's got an amazing power of resilience. People have been shot, people have been run over, stabbed, and all sorts of things, and recovered. Yeah, physician heal thyself. People get sick. You need to realise your own body is designed to fix itself. So you need to feed it with the right fuels. You need to put petrol in the car to make it go. You need to put oil in it so that it doesn't seize up. You need to put water in it so it doesn't seize up and get too hot. Right? Do that with the human body. You need to put water in it, clean food, a filter. Yeah? You need to care about what you do.
True knowledge. and
That too.
and hope and love.
Everything in triplicate. That's why when you send things to court is based on the Trinity. Right? Everything in triplicate. So if you're doing it for your body, you've got to do it for your mind, you've got to do it for your soul. And you've got to recognise what feeds my mind, what feeds my belly, what feeds my soul. Do I put a book in my belly and put food in my eyes? Eh? Or do I put a book before my eyes and take the knowledge through my eyes into my brain, into my mind, while putting food in my mouth into my belly?
You're good at eye candy, actually.
Yeah, that's just that's a metaphor. Let's not get confused with metaphors and what we actually need to do, because that can be seen, you know, many a time as people follow a sound bite that is flippant, and next thing you know, the truth has been turned on its head and people talking nonsense. Because we are in an idiocracy where people just laugh at anything. There's a thing on the internet called chatting shit. It's like, okay, well maybe people say, you Jules, you chat shit. You're welcome to have that opinion. But I'm the kind of guy that gets things done. Yeah. So whether they think I'm chatting shit or not, it gets things done. But, you know, the answer is always an inch in front of our face, and that's why we can't see it, because we haven't got, some of us, the ability to focus on what's right in front of our face. We see through it, we see past it, we see around it, but it's the answer staring us blatantly in the face. We're all going to have to get together, right? We're all going to have to get together. Alright, you've got a sick family member.
Everyone's saying,
love will heal that sick family member.
Let's go my way.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. Everyone wants to go their way, and everyone's looking at the other person saying, "Oh, I can see flaws in your way. It's got to be my way."
Yeah.
So there's really no going forward.
Many a sickness is seen as a sickness that is having to be treated through some kind of medicine, or through, you know, some other kind of radical, what I call radical treatment, involving chemicals that alter your chemical balance. But other things alter your chemical balance, like just feeling happy. You know, eating cabbage changes your chemical balance. What's the difference between eating cabbage and, I don't know, morphine? Really? There's an effect going on. You can break it down that this is causing this effect and this is causing that effect, but there's still an effect. So, what are we saying about cause and effect? Too much of anything is bad for you, but hence you're saying it's too much. Too little of anything is bad for you though. So it's always about a balance. A balance of everything is great. That's what it seems to suggest to me. You can have everything in moderation, but nothing too little and nothing too much.
Take a little wine with your water.
Thank you. Yeah, but not too much. Not too little. All right there to be had in the world. Everything that exists right now that people say, I desire that thing, can be had. And the best idea I've heard by far is the Stuff Library. You know, Zeitgeist, it's got some great concepts of actual, let's do this, that will make that happen. That makes fucking good sense, yeah? That makes excellent sense. We need to work towards it. It takes willpower. This is where the faculties, yeah, the problem with us as human beings is that when we're looking at things like the Bible, which is a great profound wisdom based on all these different things that have happened to human beings, you can choose to see certain things or you can choose not to. You can choose to be the one or you can choose to not be the one. You know, you can choose to be a red pill or a blue pill. It's always about, if you want to do that, choose.
You don't really choose to be the one, though, can you?
Yes, you can. You can't be the one without choosing. You cannot. You can only just say it. You can only just say, I am the one. What have you done?
Well, you can't deny yourself.
Until you're ready to take that leap of faith and jump between the buildings, yeah? And say, okay, I cannot necessarily see how I'm going to get from this building to that building because there's nothing I can walk on. There's no, you know, where someone says, well, how are you going to do it, Neil? There's no ground, you can't walk on it. I don't know, I've just got faith I can do it. That's it.
Oh,
Sometimes
well,
it's down to that.
a person might choose to
Well-
try and jump to the moon, but that doesn't mean anything.
But the first step is that leap of faith. Yeah, to go from the known to the unknown. Yeah, because everything we've not done yet is the unknown until we've done it and then it's known. So while we're in the unknown, we're in midair. We could fall at any minute.
A tree doesn't choose to become a tree.
Mm.
It's in its nature to be the tree,
Mm.
even when it's an acorn or a seed.
Indeed. Indeed.
So the one
But it still needs the
as
right
such,
conditions.
It's just the growth under the right conditions of what's already in there. You don't
Exactly.
choose it, I don't think.
Well,
Everything points to it.
well, I don't know. There's a kind of yin and yang going on there. There's a kind of, you have to be nudged, you have to be pulled along. The sunshine has to affect you by making you grow on one side more than the other.
What the one actually means is different to everyone who experiences it.
But is it? Because there might be slight variations, but there's always one thing that drives all of us, that we all agree on.
Necessity.
Love.
Drives us all.
To some, love is more necessary than breathing. They will die to protect their family. If say there was a house burning, they would run into that house and save their family and die in the attempt to make sure that everyone was saved. Right?
But some people would do that even if the people inside aren't their family.
True.
And some people
True.
wouldn't do that even if they were their family.
True. What's the moral of that?
There's nothing to be gathered from that.
Of course, there's plenty to be gathered from that. I mean, what kind of human being would leave people burning in the building? That's what I'm asking. I'd say a psychopath, a lazy person, someone who doesn't believe, someone who's put me first. Yeah, I could save them, but you know what? I'll die. Yeah, no greater, higher, nobler aspiration. Yeah, than to try and save somebody, protecting people.
Protecting people are in the abstract, but when it comes to family, that's just selfish motive. There's nothing necessarily to be praised in like a person saving what amounts to.
All right, let's say you don't try to save your family. Should I praise them? I wouldn't. I'd say, why did you do the best you can? All right, some people can't move. They got no legs. Whatever. Yeah. When you're talking like that, yeah, you're talking a real inability to function in that way. It's like you got no legs. I can't expect you to run around. I can't expect you to walk up and down stairs. I'm not meaning like that.
Why would a person save someone they've never met? Now that's a more pertinent question.
Because they recognise we're one family.
Well, maybe it's instinctive that, you know, the saving of a life is always inherently valuable.
Well, it's a good instinct, that, saving lives.
I
It's a
mean,
very good instinct. But also, on the flip mode,
the family one is just, yeah, it's blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
Of course, there's nothing necessarily special about that. An antelope will try and defend its young in the face of the hungry pack. Not necessarily knowing that they're both going to die, but it's just got to try to protect what amounts to itself.
yeah. Well, my dad said he recently stumbled into a book, as you often do these days. A book just happens to be on a shelf and your eyes avert to it and you stumble and you think, oh. And it was all about the psychology of psychopaths, and my dad's like, well, he's not really interested in that stuff, but for some reason he was drawn to that book. And in many ways, like you say, instinct, our subconscious is trying to draw us to, what's the answer, what's going on? I can see my environment, yeah? Cookies need love like everything needs love, right? Plants need what? Sunshine, and they need moisture, and they need soil, and they need everything that they need to grow, basically. And we need all of the same. Everything we need to grow. Growing is not just a one-dimensional thing with a human being. We don't just grow, physically. We grow mentally. We grow spiritually. So if we don't grow mentally, how do we expect to grow spiritually? Some people just want to grow, insane, fill their mind, which is such a great computing device, the greatest computing device that I know.
Someone might be really loving and really sharing and never have read a book in their life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true as well. but to, I suppose, learn knowledge of things, the true state of things, and then to be.
I think you're only going to learn things that's pertinent to you, really. I mean, what's pertinent to you as a fully rounded human being? Okay, you have that understanding which might make accordingly. For me as well. But the next person, certain knowledges might not be appropriate to their day to day, in which case are they likely to pick it up just on the basis of self in spiritual evolution. If it's pertinent, like if God really wants us to be a spiritual people on earth, he must have that dialogue with every person on earth in their heart and go through that same process as they've gone with me and with you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there is a God. How best can I be, bearing in mind there's a God? And that's what you go about trying to uncover in yourself, isn't it? What sort of man will that make me if there was a God and he's moving in my life?
Well, that's like half the universe being uncovered, isn't it? Because on the one hand, someone could hold up their hand right in front of them and look at one side of it and say, I can see my hand, but they're only seeing one side of their hand. There's another side of their hand that they can't see that's facing away from them.
Well, what does that mean in terms of what we were just talking about?
It means that for whatever the belief system is, there's always going to be an opposite. So if people are, say, a Satanist, well, there's going to be an opposite to Satanism. And the knowledge goes deep on both sides. But it's pertaining to one set of knowledge. That is the wholeness, that's the oneness, the knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, as in the Bible, because we're going all right back to the roots now, Adam and Eve Street, where the Queen's Bench is representing blah, 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 yeah. Don't mean to be flippant about it, but, you know, Bible, Adam and Eve, the serpent came to the woman, according to that Bible. So there's some symbolism in there. I'll tell you one of the first symbolisms is acceptance.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure about that word. I was at the HQ last night and there was a Levi Bedouin there whose thing was acceptance. And I'm like...
Acceptance is the key.
No, I'm not sure acceptance is the key. I think struggle more is the key.
No, struggle helps us to open our eyes. Struggle, wrestle, you suddenly realise you're fighting an angel. Right? And then your eyes become opened.
But how would you realise that if you just accept?
Real eyes. Put on your real eyes.
Struggle. Someone hands you what they say is the truth.
Yeah.
And you just accept that and just take it on wholeheartedly.
No, it's going back to that yin and yang.
Or
the wholeness must accept that in the world there exists a positive and a negative force, and it's up to us to not only discern both, but to teach about both. Because to teach only about one and not the other is in ignorance. Yeah. So you can't deal with evil by ignoring evil. Yeah. Number one, you have to teach about it.
So is this relating to your dad reading Psychology of Psychopaths?
Well, I'm bringing it to that, and I'm sure you may agree with me, because he says in that book it describes how we as a species, talking like a Darwinism, we have kind of looked at. You've always had psychopaths in society, and what they've helped do is help drive the rest of humanity forward, as it were, because there's a certain complacency with what he terms people who don't think like psychopaths. Well, not what he terms, what the book says. He's just repeating it back to me. So people who are not psychopaths are not driven, as it were, to create the change, because change isn't necessary. You understand? Whereas the psychopath, having been in that position, has actually, shall we say, enabled man to strive in a different direction than he would have previously. And because of that, we have both sides of the inventions, both sides of the scale. More of the room seems to exist because there's a reflection based on one being a reflection of the other. Yeah. So as much as we've got weapons of peace, we've got weapons of war. Do you understand? Each one kind of balances out the other. You have a defense and you have an attack.
Like without the Cold War, we wouldn't have had so many technological advances.
Well, yeah, it does kind of feed on that. Now, I'm not saying I agree with it. This is what it's saying. Let's just take it in its primordial sense for a minute. Just the the minds of men in its simplest form, good or evil. Yeah, you got men that work with others, men that see the value of family, and then you got men that attack men. This is just straight out of Cloud Atlas.
You've got institutions being brought about to deal with like individual psychopaths. But those instruments, social instruments, which are meant to deal with individual aberrations, when they're taken over by the actual psychopaths, and the psychopaths are in charge and they're saying war here, war there, search and infiltrate and usurp and manipulate and control and all of those things. And those instruments which are meant to control the long emotional outputs from us. It's just wrong from the top. So but people can put in place something where if you have a mad half hour, then you're separated and evaluated before released back into the general population. That makes sense. But like I say, when those very instruments of separating and control are used against us as a population,
as if living and breathing is now the crime.
Well, as if we're just someone
You're born and that's crime enough.
Livestock.
Yeah, you're born and that's crime enough. You know, how dare you think those things? We're going to beat that all out of you. By the next 10 generations, there'll be no such thing as, courage. You'll all be little sheep being led to your slaughter.
Well, that's what churches tended to do in the past, isn't it?
Well, talks of Christ is the shepherd protecting the flock. So without that metaphor,
has been used to absolutely control.
Without that gospel metaphor,
to manipulate, to fuck up the minds and the hearts and the souls of people.
I don't think it's. I just think they took the same words and twisted the meaning of them because, they can be seen as ambiguous, especially to those who don't want to read it.
Who's found God should be brave enough to put aside the Bible, maybe, because it has been associated with so much that if there's a God, he will direct us towards some real truth words without constant reference to what is disputed territory.
Well, I am, and therefore, because I am property of myself. I am private. Nobody can be inside my body.
This
with me.
I am unit is maybe
it's private property.
A greater private I am unit.
It belongs to God.
Can we be sure of the stubbornness that we read in the Bible necessarily? When we know
you put them to the test.
That those people who have formulated that have done it from an agenda.
Well, what does fire do differently to water? Water cleanses, doesn't it? What does fire do? It also cleanses, but in a different way. Impurities. Because you can wash with water, but the impurities remain in the water, don't they? And when you burn with fire, what happens to the impurities? They'll burn off and, they don't exist anymore. Anything that's flammable will burn. Anything that's not a true metal, or true rock or something, real substance then. Because we're talking about real substance here. Yeah, that's what's going on. You can test those same principles that you just said of the Bible and see if they're real. And if you see that they're real, then that's real. Yeah, so anything that is real is real. That's what we need to be looking at, not Israel.
What is real?
What is real?
But what are we going to say? Are we going to take a materialistic approach then?
No, we have to, like how the matrix philosophy.
I mean, on what level is love real? Except
you have to look at that.
It's something that you feel.
If you learn this...
Is anger real, or is someone just pretending to be angry? And the visual...
I thought it wasn't real. Will you make it real with your mind?
So, real then, and what is real in terms of...
Just electrical impulses that's interpreted by your brain.
No, it's not.
To a certain extent.
What is real goes beyond that. Because
of course.
Their experience isn't a constant firing of neurons and it's just a lived experience.
But what matters is the connection, the feeling, the convention. The convention is a form of connecting two minds and sharing a wisdom or a knowledge.
When this, like every other piece of matter, is in a constant change of flux, given enough time, this will decay into something else, or be reformed, or be crumpled, or burn, or...
But to deny it as what it is because it will be something else.
So to catch something in a moment, pause this film like
Yeah, pause it.
and that is what it is when it's
Yeah, it's always that.
only part of a flow of things.
But I make movies, and I can tell you that a movie is really 24, 25 frames or 30 frames, 30 pictures shown per second in rapid succession. And because of persistence of vision, we see movement. But if we had actual true vision that didn't rely on persistence of vision, you would see a flickering image.
Not just that though. We are putting onto a film an expectation that it has duration, and that one bit of that film
Yeah.
isn't a film
In
and
itself.
It doesn't explain the film in its entirety.
No. But pictures says 1,000 words. You could study it.
It's only as part of that flow
Yeah.
can something be understood.
But it shows that there's more depth than just when it is in full flow. It's only in reflection. This is why in the movie Cloud Atlas, you see the past and then you see the future. You see the past and you see the future. Then you see how the past, working with the future, as it were, wins. So what we would call the present moment, but for those that know, the present moment is always going to be the past for those in the future, and the future is always going to be the future for those in the past. But for those that live in the present moment, when the two come together and are aligned,
But
that's the present.
boundary
The
of
present
of
is
real.
where change occurs, not in the future. And the present occurs, the future. Sorry. This is why we call it the present, because it's like a gift given to us. Everything exists in present. We just talk about future abstractly, knowing that we're going
As
to
an
have
expectation.
as an expectation of what we're going to arrive at. But there's only one moment of time. And Einstein's saying, well, time is relative. He's right about that, but gravity alone is not the only deciding factor. Enjoyment of time changes time. Perception, therefore, changes time. You might as well say, I am a black hole, because I exert some kind of gravity. Is gravity just gravity, or is gravity meaning, value? You've heard people say, be aware of the gravity of a situation, meaning it has some kind of force connected to it. And we all know that when you've been to work, and you've had a bad day, the time drags. And when you've been to work and you've had a good day, the time flies. It's the same time. So why does it fly? Because our perception is what's important. It's all about what mood you're in, not what time it is. Because there's no such thing as time, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4. What time is it on Mars? What time is it on Jupiter? What time is it on a planet in Andromeda? Hey?
What's that got to do with things?
There's no such thing as 12 o'clock, except we made it up. We made up 12 o'clock, and we've decided that there are some mathematical principles that make sense. Yes, it makes sense. There's 12 hours in the day, 12 hours in the night. And we've agreed that. It's an agreement we have. It's not, that's the truth. The truth is, whatever you want it to be. If you want to be asleep in the matrix, that's the truth. Like you said, you can't make a horse drink the water. It's got to know that this is the truth. You're thirsty, horse. I can see you're thirsty. Drink some water. No.
Well, that 12 o'clock, which is the currently existing situation for some people in the world, it's 8 o'clock to some people, 6 o'clock to some people, an alternative 12 o'clock at midday to midnight for some people. And that's what I mean in terms of time
So we
zones.
must learn what language to use
live
to
in
convene
time
with.
zones in the present.
The
We
language
really are segregated into
Yeah.
distinct.
The languages of truth that exist are things like ethics and morals, maths, yeah, and so on and so forth. Science, things that have been proven, as it were, scientifically to exist.
Ethics and morals isn't scientifically proven.
It is.
It's not.
It is, because we're living in that time.
It's not.
This is the test.
It's not the
This is the test. How else do you test
Depends on
it?
the situation. Would you ever kill someone?
Ethics
No,
and
it's
morals.
long ethics.
The experiment.
Okay, well, that person is now holding a sword to your child's head.
How many times is
well,
that?
Suddenly it's
Right.
it's a real situation
Cloud
that
Atlas.
you've got to kill someone.
Cloud Atlas, mate.
So it's
In the past, in the present, in the future.
Ethics, it's too.
You know, eternal values, eternal morals and ethics. You can discover them anytime. You can call them by a different name, but what matters, not the name, the feeling, the connection between that and that. You can have all the languages in the world and they'll all be confused, but love is a universal language, like music. You know, just an instrumental can cross all boundaries. You don't need words. We just know maths and we know we like it. We know we're happy, we know we're sad. I can see when someone who doesn't speak my language is happy or sad. I can see when they need clothes. I can see when they need food. I can see when they're sick. I can see when they got run over and I need to help them. I can see it. You don't need language. You know what I mean? You need care. That's all you need. If you're making cookies, you might as well care about them. You might as well make them taste nice by putting effort in. Otherwise, they'll taste exactly like what effort you put in. They'll taste like crap if you didn't put any effort
How many
in.
packets of love cookies have you ever bought?
Exactly. Compared to what you make yourself. But that is because people don't evaluate the differences between.
You've had a packet of cookies and you've eaten them.
Yeah.
Not considering the love content. If there's love there, then it's a love of the final profit. Maybe that's the final motivation. Everyone who's had a thing is
Eating food is a strange thing. A moment in the lips and a lifetime on the hips, they say. You are what you eat. We only get to sensationalise
do cookies need
on the
love
tongue.
too? That's the thing.
Yeah, they do. Because holistically,
Cookies
on
need
aggregate,
ingredients, baking temperature,
everything needs love and care and attention. Or you get crap
or a
results.
mathematical formula, which
You can have
isn't
one.
necessarily love. It's this amount of ingredients, this time of duration, in this heated environment, comes
Done.
out just the same.
Well, all them cookies you're talking about from a packet are
I'm
done
talking-
in a
I'm talking-
machine, aren't they? Does the machine mix with love, or does it just mix? Oh, that'll do.
According to necessity.
Yeah, but if you want that real home-baked taste with
What's
the right
difference? What's the
consistency,
difference? Are we
You-
talking
you have to taste them.
Millie's cookies now? Are they baked with love? Or are they baked by people in the job?
Are they
Doing
baked
things
with more love?
Doing things according to a formula.
are they baked with more love
Are they?
than something coming from a robot?
Are they?
I could ask a human being. When you made them cookies this afternoon, did you enjoy making them? Yeah, which is a form of love,
Or was your mind on something else?
which you love. And therefore, is the best result going to come from those cookies? Giving that job to that guy who doesn't love that job, but he'll do it just for the fact that he can get some wages to try and do what he really loves.
The cookies tend to turn out the same because they're made according to formula, not according to love content.
Yeah. You know, when I heard about Zeitgeist, I imagined kind of like what they had at the Olympics for the athletes. Everything was just taken care of to a certain extent. You just went and you got your food, anything that you wanted, and you eat that. That's you, that. You eat till you're full, and you can go at any time and get your food. It was great for the athletes, but it made me think, wow, imagine if life was like that all the time. You wouldn't worry about anything, you would just function. But can you trust those that are organising that enough to say, well, they're always going to be there and they're always going to do that job and we can all eat? You know what I'm saying? It's like that. System is always trying to extract something from us and take it for themselves. Our strengths, they want to be their strengths. They want to be just like us. It's always what it's about. The system.
Have you seen the Lego movie?
That's what it's all about. You can't call it coincidence. The amount of numerology, like the number 23. Yeah. I mean, gosh, those that know what I'm talking about, right? 11:11. Everything's 11:11 right now. And if you, the other day when I slept in, you know what time I woke up and I looked at my watch? Exactly as I opened my eyes, 11:11. Yeah, 11:11, man. I could just sit there all day, I suppose, and wait until it's 11:11, but no, it actually was 11:11. The minute I opened my eyes, I had my watch on my wrist. Bam, 11:11. Okay. To me, it's symbolic. All the ones, oneness, waking up. We're all one. There is a God, and he wants us to know, and he'll define it that way to those of us that are searching. If you're not searching for an answer, you'll never
But in
find
the
one.
same way, I can look at the time zones of the peoples and think 111111111.
Yeah, it could be. Somewhere on the planet it's 1 o'clock, but or somewhere on the planet it's 11:11. All the time there's an 11:11 somewhere on the planet. Well, it's just symbolic.
No, but
It's just symbolic, man. If you know what it means, you can act upon it and say, oh, actually, that means we're all one. That reminds me today. Don't fall out with you, brother. We're all one. You get in there. You get in there. Yeah? The amount of signs I've seen from this, what's been happening recently to me, as you know, it's all bizarre, brother. It's all bizarre.
So what does 1254 signify for you? What does 1254 on the clock signify to you? Apart from the 6 minutes to 1.
Well, the other thing is 11:11 signifies the 11th hour, Judgment Day, doesn't it? And I think we're really there, but I have to hope.
Oh, look at the time now.
There's not that time anymore. I have to hope. It will be soon though. I have to hope that the future is something we can help decide, because unless something comes from outer space, as it were, which I doubt, it's not impossible, it's improbable. Mathematically, very, 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 very improbable. So I'm not thinking about aliens, I'm thinking about what we do to ourselves that fucks us up. Yeah? We've got everything we need to destroy ourselves, and we've got everything we need to save ourselves, and it's all about how we feel. Some people are very selfish and think that they can have all the technology to save themselves, and that is just not going to work. You can't save yourself. You can only save someone else. You can only feed somebody else. I'm telling you.
I'm not even sure you can even save yourself.
You can only save yourself by feeding someone else. That's how it works. That's the real rules to the game. If you haven't figured that out, you're lost. Everyone's trying to save themselves. No one can save themselves. If it's by mercy and grace, how do you save yourself? By actions.
If it's by
the most amount of love.
You save someone else.
How do you express this most amount of love then? By just loving yourself. Oh, I bought myself a new app. That means I love. Huh? What? Right, you said the sophist love, the selfish love. What's that all about? What's that got to do with love? Love is sacrifice. The closest thing that I can call love for a human being is what you do for your children. Take care of your children.
Some
You
people
sacrifice for your
knowledge
children.
and truth. Some people sacrifice for this or that.
And that is just as valid.
For money and power.
That is just as valid. Because every sacrifice comes with a personal cost to you, where you don't get to do what you want to do, but you know that the other that you're doing it for.
You're sacrificing all of those other choices and all of those other possibilities.
Exactly. Now, we've got people who want the broken plates picked up off the floor for them, especially as they're the ones that threw it on the floor, and shouldn't they be the one to pick it up and put it in the bin? And have the responsibility and collective consciousness to say, hey, what are you doing? Everyone just say, no, stop what you're doing. You who threw that, you pick that up, you put it away. And then they go, yeah, I will do. Not, F you, I'm hard. You're not hard. You're insane. Right, let's call it what it is, and then maybe you'll stop doing it. There must be something wrong with you. Nobody talked to this guy, right, until he got some help. And somebody get him some help, right? We're going to find out what's so fucking special about you.
And let's call his mother in as well.
His mum and his dad. Come on now, and I'll do the questioning.
What's this? Your son's not picking up the plates
What?
for himself. What have you been teaching him?
On naughty step and think about it. Oh, what going? No. On the naughty step until you can tell me what was wrong about what you did. I'm not even going to tell you now. You're at a certain age. I don't tell you what you did. You better tell me what you did. It's as simple as that. That's how it really works. Flipping. You don't have to figure out nothing. Question nothing. It's all self-evident if you know how. You know what I mean? You've got to use your eyes and your ears. I do have an annoying habit though of cross-talking people sometimes. I try to not do it. You know, try to be aware. If I just sit here and this is like 20 minutes of silence, I don't think we'd get anything about each other or these in-depth things that most people right now don't seem to care about. At least not that I can see, but at the same time I believe there's such an awakening going on that it's become quite a problem for the system to kind of handle. They don't know how to handle it. What should we do? Should we just go in all guns blazing? No, we'll wait till they fail themselves. For example, we'll charge them such an amount of money that it's guaranteed that we can get to kick them out and they'll just give up. Right? That's the plan that's going on. That's why today when I'm going around Manchester seeing so many police up and down, just the presence of them and blocking off certain streets and things, I'm thinking, they do that every so often and then they have a little quiet mode again, then they have the big presence all again. My suspicions and the things that I'm seeing lead me to believe that we're at a tipping point. And the 11-11s and things like that, people can take that to mean whatever they like. Maybe there's nothing to it. Maybe I'm giving it too much significance. Right, but we're either going to have oneness, yeah, or we're going to have the other, which is total division, you know, before the 11th hour, as it were, destruction. Now, not to say that these things won't happen, but through that process, aren't we maybe going to learn what the answers are? If we don't learn them now, we're definitely going to learn them when we're going through, you know, what we've created. So if we've created a bad world for ourselves, a world that is falling apart, we're going to definitely learn when we're in the midst of that shit how never to do that again. At least for that temporal moment. How well we learn it and for how long for depends on, you know, are we ready yet to start learning the lessons of history, whether we like the subject matter or not. Yeah, it's all about Django. First 5 minutes of Django. You want to know how to be a free man? Here it is. The power of a contract. In this system, if you've got the contract, you can go and kill somebody. That's what Django's teaching people. So, wow. If you've got a contract, I suddenly become a free man. Yeah. But then, you know, it kind of stops there for me then. The rest is like, oh, we're not in the Wild West anymore, having to fight for our lives like that. Yeah, we've got better bullets than that. We've got words. I'll watch some of this with you anyway, man. It's like the first few minutes of Django. You know?
So you think contract is the basis of freedom?
No, I think in this system,
Surely
in the slavery system, in this slavery,
it takes two free people to even make a contract.
in the slavery system, right? You have to learn about reading and writing. You have to get educated.
But that's the very thing which threatens your life.
It is.
You got caught with a book.
Yeah. So, you know, make the leap of faith. I don't know how I'm going to get from no knowledge to knowledge, but you know, it's either that or stay here.
Freedom. Some people find freedom forced on them, if there's such a thing.
Yeah. Well, what people have got.
You're free now. Right, well,
People have got.
What do you do with your freedom? You've got fuck all.
Well, it's not free. Freedom. They've got freedom.
They can starve now.
No, they've got freedom, but they don't know what the difference between freedom and being free with duties and responsibilities means.
Well, what does freedom mean when you find yourself amongst people who own all the shit around you, and no one's going to give you a job?
Well, it could be a case of who's taking the duty and responsibility to do things. It's like if I woke up.
You go to this bit of land and someone says, "Oh, you get off my land."
Let's say I woke up one day and discovered the meaning of life, and I'm ready to teach everybody. But like the horse to water, they don't want to drink it and learn the meaning of life and how to be rich. So I go, "Oh, fuck you then. I'm going to make myself rich." And you go, "Fuck you, Jules. I don't even like you.
Well,
I don't like your face." So I fuck off. And then I do what I'm doing, and I end up being fucking huge. And it's like, we don't like Jules. He's got too much fucking money. But wait, wouldn't you like to be in the position I'm in, whether you like me or not?
Well, you've got to get your loads of money before you can say them, haven't you?
Well, not everybody wants money, but you know, that's me.
But if there's a way,
That's what I know.
if there's a path you're on and a goal that you want to achieve, it's when you achieve that goal that you can say, "Look, I've achieved this goal,
And I'm doing
to
it.
achieve this goal. I can tell you how I did it." But once we're in a position where none of us have really done anything apart from found a little something to understand for ourselves.
Once you create one single thing that was never in this world before, you are a creator and you've done it. That's what's so easy for artists and musicians to really fathom what's going on in the world, because we're creators. We help create the visions and the ideas that help shape society by shaping the mind. Yeah, minds are shaped. Minds don't just come out of a box fully programmed with Windows XP and can do everything. Even Windows XP can be upgraded. So we all get upgraded throughout life. You know, we start off with a basic platform, information, knowledge. You know, eat, shit, breathe, all of that, and you advance and you learn words and you learn how to focus properly and how to walk and all these different programs that are running over each other, that if they work well, nobody realizes that there's anything wrong. But if they're not working well, all of a sudden people call that a glitch, and it draws everybody's attention. Forget all the rest of it. The rest of the matrix could be fucking perfect, but if you see a glitch, that's where your attention goes. So we're just as bad as the architect when it comes to glitches. We see them too. It's not just the architect says there's a glitch for the matrix, it's Neo. Well, that's your glitch. Our glitch is when you're changing things on us. Changing the rules to suit yourself. And 5 minutes ago, it wasn't that. You know, that's not the reason why we set up these rules and these places and these institutions. What are you talking about? Turn it up a bit so I can hear the power contracts. Turn it up right.
It is a second language. Now, amongst your inventory, I've been led to believe is a specimen akin to. Hello, you poor devils. Is there one amongst you who was formerly a resident of that Karukan plantation? I'm from the Karukan plantation.
You
Who
spoke.
said that?
You better speak for yourself, man. I am. When you hear the voice calling your name, you gotta be able to say, I am.
Here I am.
Mm-hmm. Let the light come and find you. Man. Some people are afraid of the light. They know the light, but they're afraid of it.
What's your name?
I don't know. But after 12.
You're exactly
Thank
what
you.
I'm looking for. Do you know
No.
what little brother, sir?
Because we've got a bit vanilla whirl in it. Haven't we? But these aren't so easy to share.
No.
Right. So I'm gonna go. Alright. The local plantation. Not anymore. Tell me, if you were to see any of these three gentlemen again, would you recognize them?
Hey, stop talking to him like that.
Like what?
Like that.
My good man, I'm simply trying to ascertain.
Speak English, goddammit.
Everybody calm down. I'm simply a customer trying to conduct a transaction.
I don't care. No sale. Now off with you.
Don't be ridiculous. Of course they're for sale. Move it. My good man, did you simply get carried away with your dramatic gesture, or are you pointing your weapon at me with lethal intention?
Last chance, fancy pants.
Oh, very well.
Oh, another laws of physics.
Maybe the laws of physics
I'm
are
sorry
really just
to bother
guidelines.
you, beast, but I didn't want you to do anything rash before you had a moment to come to your senses.
Goddamn son of a bitch! You shot Roscoe! And you killed Ace!
I only shot your brother once. He threatened to shoot me. And I do believe I have 5 witnesses who can attest to that fact.
Damn legs busted!
No doubt. Now, if you could keep your caterwauling down to a minimum, I'd like to finish my line of inquiry with young Jago.
God fucking damn it!
As I was saying, if you were to see your little brothers again, you could recognize them. Sold American! So, Mr. Speck, how much for young Jago here?
The price of freedom, eh?
Business.
It's not free. It's been sold to another person as something free.
Well, that is a metaphor if you choose to look at it that way.
that was it.
The price of
been
being
sold from one
free
person to another
is
person.
responsibility,
Also,
in reality.
Is it?
right? The metaphor of being set free is you're set free, but it comes with a set of conditions. You can be free and dumb and call it freedom, yeah, because you're not free to just do what you want, throw a plate of food on the floor and expect someone else to pick it up. That's free and dumb. That's the kind of thing that they've been sold. Yeah, you be freedom, yeah, and we'll take care of everything. And then when it all goes, backfires, then
God damn it!
and that's the problem. People don't recognise the difference between being free,
100,
which means being guilt-free.
20, and
That's
5
There's no
for
other
young
kind of
Jago
free.
here. And since you won't be needing it anymore, I'd like to purchase your brother's nag. Also, Mr. Speck, I'm afraid I'll require a bill of sale. You have one?
You go to hell, dentist!
I thought not. No worries. I come prepared.
Paperwork all the way on.
This will serve nicely as a bill of sale.
IOU, promissory note.
Oh, paid. Paid. Done the money.
Oh. Now, as to you poor devils. So as I see it, when it comes to the subject of what to do next, you gentlemen have 2 choices. 1. Once I'm gone, you could lift that beast off the remaining speck, then carry him to the next town, which would be at least 37 miles back the way you came. Or 2, you could unshackle yourselves, take that rifle, put a bullet in his head, bury the 2 of them deep, and then make your way to a more enlightened area of this country. Choice is yours.
Yeah, which direction is that then,
There are
motherfucker?
any astronomy aficionados amongst you. The North Star is that one.
Okay.
Ta-da.
You want to go north or do you want to go south? You want blue pill or red pill? There's always a choice to be made. Choose wisely, that's it.
Choose risk of your life
Now, wait a
every
minute,
day until
fellas.
you finally
Let's
make it to
talk
some sort
about
of safety, which is illusory anyway. Or just save the white man and at
You
least
gotta be
not get.
reasonable in a situation like this.
Well, they're asking for being reasonable after they tried to kick you out of your house or keep beating you every day of your life. Yeah, please, give me some mercy. I beat you. Don't you know I love
What
him?
you're
That beat
looking at,
one was.
what you're looking at there, if they touch that guy and don't bring him to safety, it's for niggers.
Well, they decided
They'll
it.
get found, they'll horrible things.
They decided it.
They didn't decide it, they were given kind of like this illusory polarity choice. You can do this or that. There was a range of options inside, outside and through. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
two.
Yeah, that no one considered. Well, that's brainwashing for you, innit? That's how we all end up
It's
being
not, it's
brainwashed.
presenting the illusion of choice. It's don't this or that.
Yeah.
Well, motherfucker, what about all of the other choices?
Where's Vishnu arms? Give me your Vishnu arms of choice. Yeah, true. That's why there's other gods, I
Never mind
suppose.
about Vishnu arms of choice. What about all those other choices apart from all of those?
Yeah.
Still try to define the parameters of thought.
Yeah.
Give me a moment and I'll try and think outside of that, outside the box and really decide what I want for myself. Never mind these two things that you're trying to choose from. What about what I want to choose from?
That's it.
Maybe I don't have to choose any of those. Maybe that choice has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Maybe my choice is between this or that one.
That's what it's all about.
But that makes it so tricky to be able to even teach, lead, or help anyone
Of course
because
it
we're
is.
constantly working out
Of course it
yourself, and all we can do is either when we sit down in the room when we start find ourselves blabbering about what matters to me or to you. It's-
Everyone can sit and criticise Cameron, everyone can sit and criticise Tony Blair, everyone can sit and criticise every leader. You know, Barack Obama, George Bush. Of course we can do that. But can anybody do better? Because everyone says that they can. Well, do better then. What have you done to get in there to do better? They say, oh, well, they won't let us in. Well, have you tried getting in? How hard did you try? Well, I tried knocking on the door once and said go away, so I went away. Did you not try going again and again and again until you get in?
Whoa.
How did they get there?
What the hell you think you're doing, boy? Get that nigger out of here. Innkeeper! Remember, get the sheriff, not the marshal.
Alas. Now we must act
Well,
as our
only in
own
ring.
part. And
Salt and chocolate, salt and sweet. Good.
What kind of dentist are you? Yeah.
despite that heart, I haven't practiced dentistry in 5 years.
Yeah, new brew time in a bit.
These days, I practice a new profession.
That's all.
Bounty hunter.
So he talks about the power of contract now.
Well, that's bullshit though, isn't it? As long as you can get that name on,
Well,
on
it
paper.
just
Never-
starts you on the path.
Never mind the coercive
The way the
aspects of that whole
slave trade
situation.
deals in human lives
Listen.
for cash, a bounty hunter deals in corpses.
A bounty hunter or a soul dyer or a murderer.
Plus,
What's the difference? I'm a mercenary, a bounty
Bounty
hunter.
hunter isn't
a
necessarily
murderer
killing someone
for hire.
A bounty hunter's just
the
like
state places a
Somebody
bounty on a
represents-
man's head. I track that man, I find that man, I kill that man.
Oh.
After I've killed him, I transport that man's corpse back to the authorities. Sometimes that's easier said than done. I show that corpse to the authorities, proving, yes, indeed, I truly have killed him, at which point the authorities pay me the bounty. So, like slavery, it's a flesh for cash business. What's the problem? It's like a reward.
you kill people and they give you a reward.
Certainly. Bad people. Ah, badder they are, bigger the reward. Which brings me to you. I must admit I'm at a bit of a quandary when it comes to you. On the one hand, I despise slavery. On the other hand, I need your help if you're not in a position to refuse all the better. So for the time being, I'm going to make this slavery malarkey work to my benefit. Still, having said that, I feel guilty. So, I would like the two of us to enter into an agreement. I'm looking for the brittle promise. However, at this endeavor, I'm at a slight disadvantage insofar as I don't know what they look like. But you do.
Been going through papers at a rate of flipping.
I know what they look like, all right. Good. So here's my agreement.
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
You
oh,
travel
man.
with me.
Oh, no, if I see it.
Where we going?
Couple of
I hear
them.
at least two of them are overseeing up in Gothenburg, but I don't know where. That means we visit every plantation in Gothenburg till we find them. And when we find them, you point them out, and I kill them. You do that, I agree to give you your freedom, $25 per
It's all
word,
Amazing Spider-Man 2 the other
75
day.
tokens.
Yeah.
And that's if on
You've seen it.
here
Yeah.
comes the sheriff.
Electro.
Yeah. He's a good electro. He's a good actor. I do like him.
You thought it was a good Electro?
Yeah,
Okay, boys.
I like the humanity he brought to it. I mean, Jay's been a good actor anyway, Jamie Foxx. I like him in Ray, and he's good in
All
Django,
right,
you know.
folks. Calm down. Go about your business. Joke will be
When you
gone
know your
soon.
craft, you know your craft, innit?
Now,
As it were.
why y'all want to come into my town and start trouble? Scare all these nice people? You ain't got nothing better to do. And you come into Bill Sharp's town and show
Come into my
your
court.
ass.
When you come into my court, and you... I just shut him with the truth. You have no authority in an administrative court. You shot me. And then everybody runs for the hills. Oh no, the court has no authority.
Should we wait inside? Should we just leave?
Because he's coming from a higher court, you see. And that's why he's able to do that. He wouldn't just come into any old town and just shoot up the people. That's like higher
He's done his research.
authorities he's claiming.
If the sheriff's the one who climbing in another part of the bunch with them.
There you
All
go.
barrels aimed at that front
Exactly.
door.
People will eventually come and say,
Somebody gets
well,
more bill out
we
of
get that money.
goddamn street.
Especially at a time when money is the thing everybody wants. That's
Got 100
ridiculous.
rifles aimed at every way out of that
That's why we
village.
need oneness. You'll never be free, you just end up with freedom.
You and your nigger come out right now with your hands over your head, and I mean right now.
Is this the marshal I have the pleasure of addressing?
Yes, it is. This is U.S. Marshal Gil Tatum.
Nothing about, Marshal. I have relieved myself of all weapons, and just as you have instructed, I am ready to step outside with my hands raised above my head. I trust, as a representative of the criminal justice system of the United States of America, I shan't be shot down in the street by either you or your deputies before I've had my day in court.
You mean like you did our sheriff? Shot him down like a dog in the street.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Do I have your word as a lawman not to shoot me down like a dog in the street?
Well, much as we'd all enjoy seeing something like that, ain't nobody gonna cheat the hangman in my town.
Fair enough, Marshal. Here we come. They're a little tense out there, so don't make any quick movements and let me do the talking.
Come in.
Like a liar, isn't it?
You unarmed?
Yes, indeed, we are. Marshal Tatum, may I address you and your deputies and apparently the entire town of Daughtry as to the incident that just occurred?
Go on.
My name is Dr. King Schultz. Like yourself, Marshal, I'm a servant of the court. The man lying dead in the dirt, who the good people of Daughtry saw fit to elect as their sheriff, who went by the name of Bill Sharp, is actually a wanted outlaw by the name of Willard Peck, with a price on his head of $200. Now, that's $200 dead or alive.
The hell you say?
I'm aware this is probably disconcerting news, but I'm willing to wager this man was elected sheriff sometime in the past 2 years. I know this because 3 years ago he was rustling cattle from the B.C. Corrigan Cattle Company of Lubbock, Texas. Now, this is a warrant made out by Circuit Court Judge Henry Allen Laudermilk of Austin, Texas. You're encouraged to wire him. He'll back up who I am and who your dear departed sheriff was.
The power of paperwork. That's all this film is
In a
really.
closed system, though, if you're not necessarily part of that system, if you've not gained access to the legal, the judiciary layer of the three branches of government, let's face it,
Yeah.
then it's someone else's law, and you're just subject to
You're a slave. You're a slave. Or you're an idiot with freedom.
That Django standing there couldn't have said any of that or appealed to any of those like those circumstances.
Because he's a slave.
He's outside of that legal framework. He's not unable to exercise any sort of rights as a human being.
Yeah.
Because those just aren't recognised by the majority of people.
Exactly. And until it is so, people will always think that lawyers can do this and judges can do that and so on and so on.
Be a free man. The horse,
In theory,
Yeah.
$25 in your back pocket. What's your plan after that?
in theory it's better than anarchy, but it's not anywhere near the best system.
No.
General, I had no idea you were a married man. Do most slaves believe in marriage?
Me and my wife do. Old man Karugan didn't, that's why we run off.
Django. Django, Django. You got sand, Django. Boys got sand.
But we'll cut
I
that
got no
out.
use for a nigger with sand. I want you to burn the runaway eye right here in his cheek. And the girl, too. And I want you to take him to the Greenville auction and sell him. Both of them.
Different directions.
Separately.
Yeah.
And this one, you will sell him cheap.
In Greenville,
This is what they do. This is what the system does. It takes them, the family, it tries to split it up into men get less money than women because women look after the kids, and you know, even though that is a good thing, it does create that disparity, doesn't it?
where she came from. You know her
You know,
name.
people need to then learn
What is her
how
name?
to live together, and not let the system separate them.
Broomfield.
Well, most people at my place, men or women, are on the same wage.
Were her owners
Yeah.
German?
Yeah, you know. She
Now
went
what?
on the Brooklyn plantation, she was raised by German.
Now what?
By Shaq.
What's it matter?
She speak a little
I'm
German
still
too.
putting 8 hours. Are my 8 hours worth less or more than
She was
someone else's
little,
8
this was
hours?
color, so she had
If
somebody
you're
to speak
female or
German.
male, what's it matter? It's still 8 hours if you 24-hour day.
Your slave wife speaks German and her name is Brunhilde von Schaft?
Yep.
They call me Hildy.
It can either be free with responsibilities and duties,
Can you just be free
Or
like
freedom. Free? Oh, I'm free.
that?
But
Can
you're
just,
really
like,
you're
by-
dumb
by
because you don't
by
realise.
declaring it? Does that mean
No.
that you're free?
No.
You'll be
So what does freedom mean?
It means taking responsibility.
So that's not freedom.
No.
You're not free from
That's not what
responsibility.
you think, because
What-
nobody
what
knows
is
the
freedom?
meaning of a word.
Freedom to kind of choose between limited choices.
You cannot escape yourself. You can't run away from yourself. Oh.
That's what alcohol and drugs is for.
Still can't, because the effects still remain. The effect
Don't break it.
is real. Even if the
And
thinking
your character
has
is
gone so
that
far
of
from the
a
real.
valet.
What it is?
That's a fancy word for servant. Valet. And now, Django, you may choose your character's costume.
He's gonna let me pick up my own clothes.
But of course,
His name is Ken. He had a
Yeah, dress how you want to dress. Dress to impress. Dress how you want to dress. Be the man you want to be. Or woman. And be it well.
How many choices is that?
It's your choice. So it's unlimited.
It's your choice out of so many. If you've not given or seen the option,
Man's wearing the best clothes.
looks like a fuck.
It's against the
Yeah,
law
but in
for
those-
niggers to ride horses in this territory.
this is my valet. My valet does not walk.
I said niggers on horses.
His name is Django. He's a free man. He can ride when he pleases.
Not on my property. Not around my niggers he can't.
My good sir. Perhaps God will allow me to unring this bell. My name is Dr. King Schultz. This is my valet, Django. These are our horses, Tony and Fritz. Mr. Bennett, I've been led to believe that you're a gentleman and a businessman. And it is for these attributes we've ridden from Texas to Tennessee to parley with you now. I wish to purchase one of your nigger gowns.
You and your Jimmy rode from Texas to Tennessee to buy one of my nigger gowns? No appointment, no nothing.
Oh, I'm afraid so.
Well, what if I was to say I don't like you? Or you fancy pants nigger, and I wouldn't sell you a tinker's damn. Now, what you got to say about that?
Mr. Bennett, if you are the businessman I've been led to believe you to be, I have 5,000 things I might say that could change your mind.
Well, come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
And that's how the system just changes like that.
But it's all bullshit though.
Of course it is. Man's created all these bullshit systems.
He's no
This
intention
is
of selling
slavery,
it
this
for
is that.
5,000 or 20,000. He just wants to
Yeah.
wind the guy up.
Well, maybe while we discuss...
It's always a game and a role.
So
and
that
an actor on a
So
stage.
all of that contract stuff is just
The whole world is a stage.
bullshit.
People author things.
Uh,
William Shakespeare was a playwright, and everyone is a playwright, writing their script,
Bettina Sugar,
writing their
would you
code.
take Django there and take him around the
was kind
grounds
of
here
really
showing
talented
all
though as lighters go. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was a one man in history or a committee, but those are really
Well, they say that about the Bible, don't they? They say that about the Quran, they say that about all things that help to enlighten us. Every book has a story to tell.
Understood, Schultz. Bettina
It's
Sugar,
great to read.
Django isn't a slave.
The human race has created great things.
You can't treat
That's
him like
our
any of the other
greatness.
niggas around here because he ain't like any of the other niggas around here. You got it?
You want I should treat him like white folks?
No. That's not what I said.
Then I don't know what you want, Big Daddy.
Yes. I can see that. What's the name of that Peckerwood boy from town that works with the glass? His mom will work over at the lumber yard.
Oh, you mean Jerry?
That's the boy's name, Jerry. You know Jerry, don't you, Sugar?
Yes, and Big Daddy.
Well, that's it then. You just treat him like you would Jerry.
That house we just left from is the big house. Big Daddy called it that because it's big. That there is the pantry. That's where Big Daddy hang all his dead meat. Whole little squirrels. What you do for your master?
Didn't you hear him tell you ain't no slave?
So you really free?
Yes, that's good.
You mean you want to dress like that?
Tell me to ask you something.
What you
I'm
want?
looking for 3 white men with 3 brothers overseas. The name was Brittle. You know him?
Really?
Yes, Brittle. John Brittle, Ellis Brittle, Roger Brittle. Sometimes called Little Rod.
I don't know.
They could be using a different name. They would have come to the plantation this past year.
You mean the Shapers?
Maybe. 3 brothers.
Uh-huh.
They here?
Uh-huh.
Could you point one of them out to me?
Well, one's over in that field.
Oh, I remember when you whipped me, boy.
That's a skinner.
No.
She ain't with the damn thing. Let's make the Bible say.
We got that scene coming up with that. With them dogs.
Yeah.
I tweeted. I was wondering.
Is that the power of contracts? Oh, I've got a contract saying that this human being is like opted there for what business does the
Well, contracts are legal fictions, and once people start to realise that it doesn't bind us indefinitely, that we cannot change from our current situation to a better situation, if we just go, you know what, that doesn't work for us. That's causing pain and distress, so we're going to end that contract. Just like, it's Sky TV. If you don't like Sky TV, end the fucking contract. That's it. Yeah? People have forgotten that they can end the contract. They feel obligated to get whipped.
People in that situation can just end
They
the
feel obligated
I'm
to
sorry, I don't want to be your slave anymore. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Comes a point when it's that.
If it's that or death.
Some people are Django. Some people are not.
Is that who you was looking for?
What are the other 2 at?
They by the stable, punishing little Jody for breaking eggs.
They're whipping little Jody? Point me in that direction.
You go to that tree and keep going that way.
Get that white man. I
It
can't.
takes somebody who's been through it to know what it feels like.
Come on now. Come on, girl. Get you set up.
And the Lord said, the fear of ye and the dread of ye shall be on every beast of the earth.
What feeling then?
Yeah, whipping the Bible into people. That's another metaphor right there. I've got the Bible for you, I'm going to whip it into you. Like, that makes me better. Eye for an eye and all that crap. You know, like the Bible isn't to be read as a whole and make you realise that we are changing. And we always change, and when a good message comes, a new message comes, you better start listening. But you better be able to discern it as well, because not everything that sounds good is actually good. Like geoengineering, don't tamper with shit, just change your behaviour. The earth is self-healing like your body is
See
self-healing.
if you break eggs again.
Oh, break some eggs, eh? Someone's head's gonna get broke. There's your Bible on your chest with a bullet hole in it.
Like the way you died, boy.
Right through his heart, because those words go straight to your heart, man. And that's the power of it. The words are like bullets. And when it hits you in your heart, you're stone cold dead if you're the one that's being judged by it. You get whipped! You get whipped! We ain't got no weapons. This is how it feels when the person who's doing the whipping gets whipped. Suddenly realises now, oh, don't whip me. Why he was whipping people? You seem to think it's okay, so this is how you learn. This is how you learn. Others, they don't learn like that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So obviously he would have people whip him because he says, I whip people, so I should be whipped.
Were they? That's Big John. That's Little Raj.
Where's Ellis?
He's the one how telling him to cross that field right now.
Sure that's him?
Yeah.
Positive?
I don't know.
You don't know if you're positive?
I don't know what positive means.
Means you're sure?
Yes.
Guess what?
Yes, I'm sure that's Ellis brother. Positive you did.
Funny man.
Everybody calm down. We mean no one else any harm. Who are you two jokers? I am Dr. King Schultz, a legal representative of the criminal justice system of the United States of America. The man to my left is Django Freeman. He is my deputy. In my pocket is a warrant signed by Circuit Court Judge Henry Allen Laudermilk of Austin, Texas, for the arrest and capture, dead or alive, of John Brittle, Roger Brittle, and Ellis Brittle.
Going by the name Schaefer.
You know them by the name of Schaefer, but the butcher's real name was Brittle. These are wanted men. The law wants them for murder. Now, I reiterate, the warrant states dead or alive, so when Mr. Freeman and myself executed these men on sight, we were operating within our legal boundaries. I realize passions are high, but I must warn you, the penalty for taking deadly force against an officer of the court in the performance of his duty is you'll be hung by the neck until you're dead. May I please remove the warrant from my pocket so you may examine it?
Ain't buying no girl slaves off that guy.
Hmm.
He won't let.
Satisfied? May I have that back, please? Get off my land. Post haste. Load up the bodies as quickly as you can, and let's get out of here.
Being free, right, has responsibilities. There's no escaping that. Yeah? It's like the offshoot of a thought is, say, the emotion. If you're doing things properly, you know, there's a production line to have yourself being free.
Fourth biggest cotton plantation.
Doesn't mean you have no responsibility. It means you have all the responsibility. That's what it means.
I'm not sure if you can think of the free.
Apparently that's where your wife is.
Anyone who's free.
Everyone says, "Oh, we want a free society." Well, we have a free society. You know, in terms of natural law allows you to lift your arm and do whatever you want. No one's restraining you like
What
that,
did they
like
mean
you're in a
by free
box.
society? Talking about free
That
free
means
society.
everybody working to create a common knowledge, a culture based on being free, which inevitably means having responsibility.
She don't feel like she ain't good enough for the house no more either. I'm trying to make her comfort, girl.
What is a comfort?
Oh. Not while I got freedom. Not while I got my gun.
Yes, one of the things that we're pushing people more and more towards. There'll be lots of jobs in prostitution and nothing in anything good, so that people descend into hell more and more just to keep themselves alive. But you can be free and free dumb. So the free dumb ones will say, yeah, I'll take that option, it's easy, I don't have responsibility then. I don't have to make sure that society preserves anything called morals and values. We can just say, oh yeah, I saw your mum last night with her tits out, you know, to the 7-year-old. Like, yeah, you know, no responsibility equals free dumb. You're free to get your tits out and be dumb. So you can be free and say, I've got responsibility, not just to me, but to even the things I can't even fathom yet. You gotta have some wisdom to do that though, haven't you?
May I offer an alternative? Go ahead. The man walks up to the front.
Say that again. I want to get that soundbite and think about it myself. So when people get free, they have to be.
No. The only condition, there's a condition of freedom, and that's honesty and sincerity in dealings in society.
But then you're not done. No. You're free wise.
No, well, it's just a case of informed choices. If freedom is a freedom of choice, then those choices must be within the boundaries of clear and honest and open understanding between person and person. It's like, this is goods A, and you've got goods B. And in terms of interaction, in terms of knowledge, communication, or goods exchange, or whatever, it's like honest, an honest choice, an informed choice.
Such as, like you said, which comes with responsibility, as I said, because with responsibility and duties. To be truly free, you recognise that the laws that are natural and all around us and everlasting, these everlasting principles, are things we need to just accept. They're there, you know. No man will ever change them. They're unchanging. And that's why, you know, we in the Bible it talks about the unchanging aspects of God, things like that. So the unchanging aspects of our reality mean that, yeah, you want to be free. You can be free or a slave. There's still responsibilities and someone's got to do them. But if you want to be free dumb, then just act like a clown. Do whatever you want. Drink yourself to death, smoke yourself to death, work to death, anything to death, because it all leads to you're going to die one day. But have you lived? You know?
Seems like a good bit of fun.
Because they're avoiding the work. They're avoiding the responsibility. They're avoiding causality. They're avoiding conscience. If you've not got a conscience, then yeah, just avoid it, you know. But everyone's got a conscience. Even those that are crazy got a conscience. Even if it's just down to, I want to preserve myself and nobody else. But I see it differently. I see it that we can't destroy the system. You know what I mean? We've got to fix the things that we've got. Everything is not broken, it's just the way it's working. We need to tune up. The minds and the hearts and the souls of men need tune-ups. And the tune-up is, there's no dumb, it's wise. Yeah, get wise. Get free and get wise. So to be free and wise means responsibility. You've got to get involved. You have to be the one who has to do it, because you're the one who is enlightened enough to be free. You cannot be free if you're not enlightened to know the difference. Does that make sense? Yeah, I see it,
Taking on the burden, taking on more burdens. That's anti-freedom.
Are you sure?
It's embellishing yourself with responsibilities.
What is laziness then? How do we define that? I'm not saying what you said is laziness or people want to be lazy. I'm just defining something here. Because free, but I don't want to do anything. Or free, and
I don't even understand why you're talking about freedom. Why would you want to be free? In your situation, that's a denial of responsibility.
No, I am free.
But you're not free, and you don't want to be free, Jules. That's what you're not getting. You don't want to be free.
Well, what
don't
do I
even
want to
understand
be?
what freedom is because you have responsibilities. So unless you're going to run away from them, you've got responsibilities. That's not freedom. That's what you have. And what you want to do is not run away to some sort of freedom, but deal with your responsibilities and your duties. So don't run away for freedom. Don't consider freedom. Look at what you have and think, right, well, my lot isn't freedom or the pursuit of freedom. It's the pursuit of happiness for me and the people who I'm bound to in bounds of servitude almost to each other.
Exactly.
So that's not freedom that you want or desire. People talk about freedom as if it's something desirable. It's not necessarily
People already
desirable.
have freedom too.
Even a person who runs away to the desert to seek only responsibility to God isn't free. He's bound himself to
Principles.
duties and principles that he's not running away from. He's running to. He's shackling
And that's
himself.
the wisdom, because you realise they are everlasting, and if you want to be part of everlasting,
Whatever, but
you have to build on the
it's
foundation.
just not a pursuit of freedom. It's a pursuit of servitude that most people are actually after. A person who loves someone would do anything for that person. They don't want freedom from that person. They want to be bound.
The story of the servant and the master.
They want to be bound to each other.
Are we bound
as
by the master?
As unfree, not master to one another, but bound to each other in voluntary servitude of the other.
The ties that bind. Yeah.
So, freedom. Don't think freedom. Think the joys of responsibility.
Right. That's what I said to people at work. You know, don't think about how long you're at work. Enjoy it.
Unless you really do want to be free from your responsibilities, your money that you earn, it's for you to spend on however you want. But even then, a life of licentiousness can lead to all sorts of internal,
no doubt,
physiological, emotional, mental issues. Both positive and negative, because I've not necessarily pursued it. Maybe there's some fulfillment to be had in that actual fulfillment of desire. I've had more disappointment of desire, but that's a good thing for me in my path, because I've learned other things about desire, which means that desire is just another. It's a net,
and that's why you see the reflection of yourself in others. Those that have become the negative, the antithesis.
No, there's no negative.
Well, the polar.
It's not
the
even
polar opposite.
It's not even polar, because I'm not dealing with polarities. I'm dealing with a whole range of different frequencies and possibilities, and they're all me. They're all I am. It's just that.
Well, call it 50 Shades of Grey if you want, but it all leads to a separation, but a collective oneness that can be traced through shades of grey. We are connected to the next one and the next one till eventually it's like, all right, yeah, he's the direct opposite of you, character and personality. You're good, he's bad, let's say. Or you're bad and he's good.
Let's not say, because I don't want to even involve myself in those polarities.
But they exist, and until you...
No, but they don't exist.
You do, that's true.
There's not. There's a range of possibilities inside, between them and beyond them.
Well, that to me sounds like you don't want to think about it, though.
It's not wanting to think about or anything like that. Good and evil, what does that matter except in your own personal understanding?
Well,
a person who kills another person, you could think, yeah, they're evil, but what were the circumstances of that occurrence?
Indeed. Indeed. Could be trying to protect their family from crazy people, you know?
One person steals, is that person evil, or are the circumstances which led to a necessity?
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, is that the reason why we even said, let's not just immediately react to our emotions, let's have a court system or some kind of system where we can all sit down, those of us who have an interest in what's going on, and make discussions and decisions. Should we have a place like that?
In theory, two enlightened people, fully educated.
Now, according to Moby, if I do business
don't
with
need
you,
courts. Courts are the resort of the undeveloped.
Failure. It's a failure to come to an agreement.
If two people between, say, man and woman, do they need courts except their internal communication, dialogue, that's broken down. They've gone beyond rationality into extreme forms of emotional breakdown, withdrawal.
You don't want to bother.
So courts are a positive thing for the enlightened. I don't want to be in courts because I expect more enlightened dealings.
Me neither. I don't want to be in courts neither. But they love calling on the poor man and finding an excuse to try and persecute him because the poor man's to blame for everybody else's problems.
Before it was saying
It's the poor man that stole the 15 trillion. Go on.
What is it you don't want, but if you get it, you don't want to lose it?
Go on.
A case in a court.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
What is it which
there's no escaping your duty.
all of your other hopes and happiness things? A case in a court.
We're all here to
disturbs your love of sweet reggae music.
For real.
Case in a court.
That's what I'm saying. For real. You don't know. We're all here to do what we're all here
It's
to
not a
do.
desirable thing. If I was in a relationship with a woman, I would much prefer to be able to communicate with rational, emotional, mental, physiological dialogue.
Yeah.
Good morning,
As long as the lines of communication are open and you can be honest and truthful. Because without the honesty and sincerity of dealings, then that's breakdown like that. There's no communication where honesty.
Well, what's more honest than saying I am wretched, I am miserable, I am loathsome or whatever, as a method whereby all that big ego stuff that everybody carries about every day in order to succeed in their job or walk across the street, put on nice clothes and all that. The world is just one big fucking ego where everyone's putting their egos up front and saying I am this, look at me, fucking perfect, never fin do, never make mistakes. But mistakes happen. It's just a part of life, you know. And rather than growing up and accepting that we make mistakes, and because we know we make mistakes, we're always going to try and rectify them as soon as possible, so that stitching time saves 9 mistakes. Yeah, let's fix the 1 mistake now before it becomes 9 and 12 and 50 mistakes. Yeah, but so long as people have got their freedom, where no one bothers you, and you can just do as much dumb shit as you like. Yeah. Those that are ruling, evil will always flock to other people that are evil and say, how can we get away with doing our evil? Because I like doing evil, So they all flock together, don't they? And they do the evil in numbers for safety. Yeah, because safety in numbers. The evil is all coming together and coalescing. We're all being spun round in a big centrifuge, and the denser parts are collecting at the bottom, and the less dense parts, not related to knowledge or anything, is collecting at the top.
Calm down. Saw the whole thing. No harm done. Are you kidding me?
So the gravity of things.
No harm done. Now take your hand off your pistol.
The gravity of things is what affects the situation, and gravity can be increased and decreased depending on the situation.
Well, it can be increased or decreased according to the situation.
Yeah, that's right. Just like time is relative to gravity.
That's anti-physics, isn't it?
Because we're now on metaphysics, not just physics. Metaphysics is the thing that bends the walls of the matrix. I think that the walls of the matrix should be like that.
You've got to be clear with what you say.
I am. And you are as well, and that's why I know where you're coming from, and that is,
the perception
another yin and yang.
The perception of gravity doesn't make it a real change in gravity. Say if you're in a lift and it's just lifted you up and stopped. For that moment that it stopped, you experience gravity differently.
Because of perception.
Right, and when it's dropped and it stops, you feel it differently.
The rest of the world didn't feel your perception, but that's what it is.
And within that column, there wasn't any change in the exercise of gravity between force and force. It was relative perception, wasn't it?
Well, this is where the idea of your truth and my truth and our truth and all that comes from. And Mark Passio likes to say those statements where there's no such thing as that. And I agree, there's no such thing as my truth, your truth. There's just the truth and we need to align to it. Totally see where it's coming from. But so long as people create their truth, my truth, that also exists. You see? And that is the metaphysical which fucks with the physical. Because as soon as you got this physical world of boundaries and limitations, and man puts his own imaginary mythological boundaries, the mythological ones create an effect that limits the reality being perceived.
Maybe, but they can also expand those same things. The range of the possible can be expanded by the introduction of the mythological framework.
Yeah. Well, that's why we write new myths that update.
That doesn't mean that these expanded possibilities actually happen, but the possibility that they can happen under certain circumstances becomes a real possibility.
A demonstration.
Well, demonstration isn't necessarily necessary for the faithful, let's say. Although,
blessed is those who have not seen and yet believe, but more blessed are those who have seen and yet still believe.
I've not found that necessarily.
You go look and see if it's in there.
Something similar, which isn't necessarily what you're saying. But I've also heard you say, yeah, but this other one's in it as well.
It is. And it's not necessarily in the part where you think it is. Okay, because you see, the Bible repeats certain passages, and if you read those passages as if you've already read them, oh yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they're all saying the same thing, but in slightly different ways, which gives a different angle on the perception. I'm seeing my hand this way, now I turn my hand over, and I can see my hand from the other side, and I get a more three-dimensional picture, if it's there to be seen. Okay, and you know, again, like just wrapping your whole life up in what I do or what you do and making that become your life and not having the pursuit of happiness also involved in that. Because although we want the truth, the pursuit of happiness is important. But can you have the pursuit of happiness actually be a reality without the pursuit of truth also?